Hi, Papaya. How is everyone doing? How is your sapphic Sunday been? This is a great intro. Thank you, Pat. Thank you. How's everyone doing so far on this lovely sapphic Sunday? I've been doing well. I had breakfast and then lunch. No more financial stuff. Boo. It's disgusting. How dare the world need financial stuff to be done? Fucking capitalism. Oh shit, I almost dropped the phone again. I said I almost dropped the phone, then I proceeded to tug the wire some more and drop the phone on my face. On my face? On its face. On the phone's face. Because the charging wire is kind of taut. But also I'm not using the phone, so it's not that bad. The two phones. The one phone that fell. The phone that's used for YouTube Studio. Yes, that one. The one I'm not using. And I'm not using, because I can't figure out how to set up YouTube Studio mobile to function with the fucking VC face. So I can't figure that out yet. But yes, my sapphic has been good. I'm sad to hear that Bunlivia has to do financial stuff again. It's a shame. I hope you can enjoy watching and listening to my really scuffed voice acting as I return to the lovely Ebihime game, Fragile Feelings, that I guess it makes sense, but I was not expecting the saves to be there. I don't know why I didn't expect the saves to stay when it's saved locally as the same directory for saves as the demo. I don't know why I thought, no, saves covering through to the full game? Impossible. That is never heard of. Never heard that before. Clearly I'm just dumb. But yes, we're back with Fragile Feelings. We did the demo how long ago? Many months ago. Sometime last year, that's for sure. But how long ago was it? Let me just check real quick, because I am curious. See how long it's been since we've touched this lovely little thing. Wow, it was before... I guess it makes sense it was before Twofold, yeah, and... Oh, wow. Oh, it was before Howie Blossoms as well. Ooh. It was in June. What the fuck? What the fuck? It was in June. It was titled "Show Me the Hot School Nurse!" Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! I mean, women, am I right? Locked. Why is... What? Why is the first... Confused. Why is the first CG locked? Oh well, that's... not really my problem, I guess. Ooh, music box. Girl talk. Listen to some chill music. Fuck yeah. Based. Anyways, yes, we're back with Fragile Feelings, where you play as a cute little teacher's aide. And we got a very pretty new school nurse coming in. This is an all-girls school, all-girls private school, if I remember correctly, it's been many a months, as evidenced by the fact that this was first played in June. The fuck? And I have 100% forgot any voices I gave the people. So, we're gonna have to figure out new voices. And also, my throat is still dying. Lovely! And I chose to do visual novel. I am responsible. Thank you, Possum. I am responsible. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Clearly, I am the most responsible person in the world. Now, should I pick one that has voice acting, lol? Well, guess what? None of the fucking games I have in my backlog have voice acting, okay? None of the visual novels for Sapphic Sunday I have backlogged have voice acting. There's one that's DLC that has voice acting. There's one that is a DLC of a game I played already that has voice acting in it in general, but also this one's been here for a while, and I had the game for a while. So I should play this one since it's been here for a while. I got this how long ago? I don't know. Does Steam tell me? I don't think Steam tells me when I got the game. I think I've never played the game when I first got the game. So, shrugs. Shrugs! I guess we should jump into no news is good news. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
Good morning, Aspen.
What the fuck is happening?
Good morning, Miho, to you.
That's a great start. That's a great start. That's a great start. That's a great way to start. Load here. Attempt to roll back to a prior time, allowing you to save or choose different choice. Roll back. Oop. Hello. Crash log? Goodbye, game. Okay, so apparently loading the previous thing was not the best idea. And now I don't see my Steam. My bottom monitor is having a ball. Oh, it's back. Here we go. Play. Yes, it is the most interesting opening scene for a video game. An error screen! An error screen of loading a demo save. Don't do that. It doesn't bode well. Who would have thought that loading a save from the demo would fuck it over? What if I were to do this? And then... Huh. It did go to the start. What the fuck? What the fuck? The question is, do we read the scene over again? The whole... Do we go over the whole thing that was in fact just the demo? Do we do this again? Or do I just power through the fact that it's broken? that I can't load the save from this one. I'm gonna try again. Okay, the ignore just goes back. It just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. The demo saves are dead. Don't use them. Now do I read this? Now the question I ask myself is, do I read this all over again? Do I do that? Also, what's this? Oh, that's the settings. Okay. Skip all text, mute all audio, full screen display, enable transitions. Audio. This is truly the most interesting question. Do I go through all of this again? All of that. And just redo the whole thing that was in fact the June stream. The stream in June. All those months ago. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do with my life. I say as I continue just pressing the left mouse button without a care in the world. Suddenly, and she, there, then, it, had, a, the, and, had, Tamaki. When, man, this Tamaki, when, and, though, she had, and, she, and other, like, a, now, girl, other. Yes, this is the most riveting gameplay ever. You're clearly here for the most riveting. What are you talking about? That's the day? June 25th. Any percent speedrun. Okay, I'm pulling out the... I'm gonna regret doing this. I'm gonna regret doing this, but I'm gonna do this. Might break. She got... she... Sorry, it missed... Very question after now. Hi, miss. She nicely said something did for she knew was prized in the wedding and not run out height of well it. You get the idea. You get the idea of my sleep deprived character. Look at those circles. Look at those dark circles under mine eyes. Riveting gameplay. Hot teacher. So I'm looking for that. Stayed up too late reading Yuri. Clearly that's what she did. So I'm looking for that. Got it. It's roughly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for her in a school uniform for some a sailor suit for some reason. I don't know why. Why am I in a sailor suit? I'm in this nice proper getup. Why am I wearing a sailor suit? Pray tell. Hello. It's soda time. Here's your soda. From vending machine that is 8 your money. Kohaku. On. Don't voice this yet. I haven't a damn clue what voice we can give anyone yet. Lovely. Punches vending machine. Punches it again. Wait, possum. It's another Yuri that starts with the vending machine that sparks the romance. It's another one. It's another one! Wow! Noble endeavor. Truly, the most noble endeavor of reading Yuri all night. Oh, the vending machine is Yuri Pipeline. The vending mashing. Mocking. Like Mach 5. Vending mocking. It's a Yuri Pipeline. Yes, yes, the most famous pipeline. Hello, jealous friend of mine. Hello, jealous friend who is younger than me, I think, because you're a student, but also taller than me because I am short as fuck. Wow. Riveting gameplay. Oh. Oh. It's this. It's holding a grudge. We're almost there. We're almost there, guys, to the thing that we did in June. Any second now. Any minute. Hospital. Oh yeah, Oh, wait, we're in a. We're going to the hospital. I forgot about that. Well, let's just restart this part then. Fuck it. The hospital. Alright. Alright, guys, it's time to start actually reading. Even though I did read this segment before, I don't know where exactly we are after this. Hello, notification, my friend is playing hand time. How are you doing today? I need to figure out a voice for the narrator. Jesus Christmas. Hmm. Let's talk to third person, okay. The first week of the new school term ticked by, and the weekend soon arrived with it. Anna woke early on Saturday, and dressed plainly, in a white shirt and a navy skirt. I'm gonna not use an accent because I can't fucking read properly. She met Miss Cayano outside St. Cecilia's gates, and the pair drove to the hospital in companionable silence. The hospital is half an hour away, down a series of twisting, turning, countryside roads filled with potholes. I had traveled these roads many times with Miss Cayano, even ever since her parents had first left her at St. Cecilia's. Owing to her delicate constitution, Anne had to pay regular visits to the hospital. She went there for routine checkups every few months, a responsibility she had been adhering to for years. As such, Anne was intimately familiar with the countryside road, and the hospital with which waited her at the end of them. The hospital was a white, square-shaped building with a sleek and modern design. Its exterior was studded with windows which shone in springtime sun. Miss Cannell parked the car, then accompanied Anne inside. The sliding doors slid. The sliding doors slid open with a whir, admitting the pair entry. Anne spoke to the woman at the reception desk. They took a seat in the waiting room alongside Miss Cayano. The waiting room was a reasonably large room with windows which looked out to the garden behind it. The plush chairs were upholstered with blue cushions, but the floor was white and grey, like a washed-out chessboard. The floor itself was so highly polished, Anne could see her own reflection in it. She looked at herself, and her reflection looked back. Her mirror image blinked when she did, and uncrossed her legs, and brushed a stray strand of hair behind one ear. Perturbed, Anne looked away. Anne could hear the flipping of papers as her fellow patients thumbed through paperbacks, and the scrapes of chair legs against the shiny linen floor. Lino? I don't know how to say words. One elderly woman sitting opposite Anne was knitting something. I wasn't sure what it was. A pair of mittens, maybe? Her needles winked in the sunlight. The wool, bright carmine, snaked out her handbag was like entrails. When Anne inhaled, she could smell the antiseptic in coffee. It was a thoroughly unpleasant aroma. Uncomfortable, Anne shifted in her seat. Her stomach was churning. Fitfully, Anne glanced at the clock. Her appointment was in 10 minutes. The second hand was moving much too slowly. Hurry up, Anne willed, trying not to inhale the strong antiseptic smell. Hurry up! Life was too short to spend it in and out of hospitals. Life was too short to spend it in and out of hospitals, and Anne's life was shorter than most. She didn't want to waste waiting for news she knew she would be happier not knowing about. Anne never left the hospital feeling better than she had before entering. Regular appointments only ever, in fact, made her feel worse. Miss Cayano saw Anne stirring. Disconcertingly picking at her skirt and frowning. Oh, you're right, dear? Oh, I'm fine. I'm just a bit restless. I can't blame you. I don't much like sitting around in the hospital either. You don't have to stay. You don't have to stay with me. Not if you don't want to. I'm a big girl now. I can handle things myself. Anne had been to the hospital so many times before, she knew precisely what was expected of her. It no longer held any intrigue. It was all routine, rote, and dreadfully dull. Not to mention, depressing. That was her life, after all. That was her life all over. Oh no, it's fine. I don't mind waiting. I actually prefer to be with you. I'm sure you'd be awfully bored if you don't have any company. Maybe I would, but I'm sure there are other things you'd rather be doing. And I'm sure there are other things you would rather be doing, too. Unfortunately, however, you don't have much of a choice. If I have to suffer, then you want to suffer alongside me? I'm hardly suffering. I'm just sitting here. There's no need to be so melodramatic. Why am I British? I don't fucking know. I'm rather more concerned about your welfare rather than mine. But well, we don't know how things will go. You might receive some good news yet. That would be a first. Oh dear. You're not very optimistic today, are you? After all this time, no, not really. I've already learned it's best not to hope for anything. You don't want to be disappointed? That's about the gist of it. Poor dear. This must be hard on you. It was when I was younger. But I think I've gotten used to it. It's been years. Yes, I suppose it has. Miss Cayano's expression clouded over. Any illness is unfortunate for anybody to come to terms with, particularly a person so young. But please, do your best to hang in there. No matter how you want to feel, you aren't alone. I know. I appreciate everything you've done for me. You needn't have, but you did all the same. Thank you. Don't thank me, dear. I'm not helping you out of any sense of obligation. I'm doing it because I want to. I'm very fond of you, you know. Aunt knew Miss Cayano made it quite apparent. And still wasn't sure why Miss Cayano had taken such a shine to her. But she supposed it would be boorish to question her. She didn't want to be rude. So on, has anything interesting happened to you this last week? Interesting? Anne's brow furrowed. The first thing her mind jumped to was Miss Asaba. No, Kohaku. She was certainly interesting, with her pierced ears and her high boots. High heels. Both are not the same. Anne was still stunned that such a woman had taken an interest to her. The conversation they'd had in the school's courtyard didn't feel quite real. It seemed, indeed, more like something from a dream. Anne hadn't spoken to Haku since, however, and she was fast beginning to wonder whether she'd been dreaming. Why would Kohaku go out of her way to speak to her? It didn't make any sense. Anne, is something the matter? Oh, no. I, don't think anything has happened, no. Nothing at all? Anne shook her head. Really? It's a new school term, so I thought you might have made a new start. Have you made any new friends? I don't really have the opportunity. You know I never leave St. Cecilia's. We're not at St. Cecilia's right now. That's because I'm with you. I don't go out otherwise. Not unless with Runa. Ah, yes. Miss Fukuchi. I remember when I taught her. She was quite the rambunctious child. Always getting into trouble. She might have been a bit like you, actually. How has she been? Is she as nosy as always? I nodded somewhat distractedly. I must say, I always found that girl hard work, but maybe she's mellowed out over the years. I wouldn't know. I don't teach the older girls. I'm glad you have a friend who's closer to you in age than I am. It should do you some good. Reno's still a student, though. Barely, isn't she in her final year? Ash nodded. She isn't that much younger than I am, but I still worry that it's inappropriate. Oh, I wouldn't be overly concerned about that, not if I were you. Miss Ekuchi might be a student, but she's not your student. You're not marking any of her essays. I suppose so. And what about the new nurse? Do you have any opinions on her? Why would you ask me about that? Well, why not? She's the new addition to our staff, and she made quite the impression during our first assembly back. She seems like quite the character. I was wondering if you'd have a chance to talk with her yet. She looks rather young. I was rather hoping you two might get along. Anne began to stutter, her eyes downcast. She wasn't sure what to say about Kohaku, largely because she herself didn't know what she felt about her. She was spared the trouble of entangling her own feelings about her, however, by an intrusive voice. Why am I being pinged? Who is live? Never mind, I know who is live. Looks like I pulled up their fucking mod view. Is he playing? Okay, allegedly playing that game. Did you change the title or no? He just has two VODs with the same title, I guess. It's fucking cringe! It doesn't... Not creative and funny names of fucking games. Or stream titles. Nerd. Lazy motherfucker. He's lazy! Miss... Miss Clement? Dr. Hashimoto will see you now. Oh, right! Ann got to her feet so hurriedly she almost tripped. Miss Kayako reached to steady her with an upsy-daisy, which made Ann's face turn redder still. Why did talking about Miss Asaba make her feel so ill at ease? It was a mystery. It was a mystery. April! Spring has sprung! And that was the end of the demo. I'm saving right here. The weeks continued to pass by, and as they did, April came to its inevitable close. Close. Imagine not naming things fancily. Yes. I spent many a minutes trying to figure out stream titles, like, the new Scroll Nurse is looking kinda cute! The most creative of titles ever. The most inspirational things in existence ever to be created. Another one is, now it's Sidon's time! Time to visit Link's BF. Sorry, Sidon, not Sidon. Sidon's time.
I was just thinking that you look
Thank
like
you,
the sort
Pasta.
of person who would enjoy one of our fairy kiss chillers.
Thank you. What to do? Yes, I can just scroll through. The most enticing commentary of birds and I back. Mm. Yeah, I can't turn off auto reconnect on certain device on certain things. That sucks. Sync with block paying requests. Unpair. 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 What headphones are those? I don't know. Oh well. Okay then. Burbs. Sorry. I was going to my phone's Bluetooth pairing history. Because I was trying to see if I could make it so it just stops auto pairing these headphones to my phone. So I can just pair it to my laptop whenever I need to. But not have to worry about turning my Bluetooth off on my phone first. Kwaku smiled whenever her eye caught An's, and she waved, but this was the extent of their communication. Extent? Extent dread? The tour of St. Cecilia's, which An had once promised Kohaku, never transpired, but perhaps that was for the best. Bruno hadn't liked when An had spoken to Kohaku last, and in any event, Kohaku seemed to be navigating St. Cecilia's well enough on her own. Extant jump scare? Whoa. Somebody else must have given Kohaku a tour in An's stead. One of the biology teachers, maybe. I wasn't sure why, but she imagined that Kohaku would get along well with the few members of the science department. With the few members the science department boasted. Medicine and science often went together, didn't they? I found herself thinking of Kohaku on occasions during lulls in her workday. Kohaku's smiling face came to her as she brushed her hair in the morning, or picked at her food during lunch, or peeled off her stockings and shimmies out of her clothes at night. But I didn't like to linger upon such thoughts, because they're gay. They didn't mean anything. How could they? She's not gay. She and Kohaku weren't friends, despite Miss Kayano's prodding questions during her last visit to the hospital. It was impossible to base a relationship upon a half-hour conversation. Not a meaningful one, in any event. They're gay, Your Honor. Kohaku was still a stranger to An. But for all that, An still found herself blushing whenever she saw Kohaku in the hallways. The ray, the empathic. Oh, it's not. That's a word. It's the what's it called? The pathetic. The pathetic fallacy. No, that's not it. I forgot what that literary device I'm looking for is called. When Anna awoke one Tuesday morning, it was to the sound of rain. The sky was grey and overcast, and from these clusters of storm clouds, the rain fell at irregular intervals. The falling droplets fading into the backdrop, a faint but ever-present murmur as Anne readied herself for the coming day. Ooh, cute. Cute and sad. That's a lot of things on your desk. That's a lot of things in your bathroom. That's a lot of things. What the heck? Slipped out from beneath her sheets and changed into her nightgown. Out of her nightgown. Martin, out of her nightgown. Combed her hair and brushed her teeth, then examined her reflection in the bathroom mirror. Anne's tired face stared at her from the pristine glass. Her cheeks pale and her under eyes dark. My head ached more than it had during the last few weeks. But the rain wasn't unmanageable, and was sure she could ignore it. She had dealt with worse things during her life. You're a grown-up now, Ann. Never thought you'd make it here, but you did. Ann murmured this to herself, her voice almost indistinguishable from the rain which struck her tiny bathroom window. Can't keep... I Corner Rock. Can't keep shirking your responsibilities, not like you did last year. Miss Keanu is nice, but you can't take advantage of that. You're expected to work, and that's what you've got to do. You need to get it together. Ann gripped the sink tightly, as though for moral support. The whole room was beginning to sway. The reflection looked faint and hazy about the edges, as though she was viewing it through a patina of mist. She felt faint and hazy around the edges, too. Only half alive. She had slept for 9 hours last night, but that evidently hadn't been enough. I don't know, you had a sword with you. Yep. Yes, I do. I always have one in my 3D model. It's there. If you want a better look at it, it's not. There's a ref sheet on my Twitter. It's a very basic design, with aspects stolen from many things. But yes, the story's going well. We started with many crashes, trying to load our demo saves from June. These saves are from June and loading it does this. So that's fun. I'm going to the main menu real quick. Just load. Just save proper. So yeah, loading a demo save is not advised. It just doesn't go well and just goes to an error screen. So I just spam clicked through everything we went through from June on the demo, and now we're here to new content. New, proper content that I have not seen yet at all. I'm petting Nemo a bit too aggressively. Anyways, the 9 hours that she had slept for 9 hours last night, but that, evidently, hadn't been enough. She was always tired, regardless of how much or how little sleep she got. But Anna was determined to persevere. She would do her very best, but... She knew already that it was going to be a long, drawn-out day. Miss Carroll knew that something was wrong the moment Ann entered the classroom, despite Ann's best attempt to appear unbothered. Oh my, you're looking very pale, Ann. You don't need to go to the nurse's office, do you? Oh no, I'm fine. I have a bit of a headache, but it's nothing serious. Are you sure? You're shaking. That's because of the cold. Please don't worry, I'm fine, really. Well, if you're certain... Miss Kayano didn't look convinced, but she had no further room for question. She had no further room to question on. The morning bell rang, cutting through the continued patter of the falling rain, and the school day began in earnest. Girls began to file in through the door for their lessons, chatting amongst themselves. Buttons were undone, coats were taken off. Rivulets of water dripping onto the hardwood floor as Miss Kayano greeted them. Welcome, girls. It's wonderful to see you this morning. I hope you can muster up some sunny smiles for me, despite the weather. I hope none of you got too wet on your way here. Oh no, it was fine, miss. My daddy gave me this very cute umbrella. Look! Are you unfiltered umbrella, catching a few of her fellow classmates with its icy droplets? They got caught in this minute shower, squealed. Minute? First an alarm, then light as they took in the sight of Ayu's unfurled umbrella. Oh, I know that character. I know her. Isn't that Pumpkin? That's right. It's a limited edition pumpkin umbrella. My daddy bought it for me when we went to a business trip in Tokyo from the pretty magical pumpkin pop-up shop. Isn't it cute? It's awesome. It's adorable. What voice I give her? I forgot. It's adorable. My voice is gonna be fucking dead by the end of this, and that's my own problem and my own fault. It's my own fault that if it happens. I have put myself to blame for this, and I have things to do on Friday evening. Reno soon sighed enviously. I wish my parents would let me have a cute umbrella like that. Mine's a plain black one. It's so boring. It's alright, Reno. Don't worry. That plain umbrella suits you very much better than a cute umbrella like mine would. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Do you really think so? Yeah, it's much to your style. Thank you. Are you? That's very nice of you. That was a backhanded compliment, motherfucker. I know it is. I'm a very nice person. My voice has changed those fucking 5 minutes. Whoopsie. I keep forgetting what fucking voice I gave her. Oh. Unfrowned, she could tell despite the prominence in her headache that Ayu hadn't intended that to be a compliment. No shit, Sherlock. For a 9-year-old, she was awfully devious. Hey Ayu, I was wondering. Would you let me borrow your umbrella during lunchtime? I don't want it for very long. Just a little while. It'd be nice to hold it, at least, even if I can't have it. Oh yes, me too! Me too! Me too! I love Pretty Magical Pumpkin! So do I! A crowd of about 8 girls had formed around Ayu, all staring at her umbrella. Where's the thing? Ayu, meanwhile, smirked. Well, I don't know about that. This umbrella is a limited edition. You can't even buy it anymore. I could let you hold it for a few seconds, if you really want to. But it'll cost you. I don't have very much money though. My parents are really stingy. They say that I'll waste it. What voice? Oh, I know a fucking goddamn find a voice for these fucking children. For fuck's sake, at least one of the children that fucking speak. Not even all of that. We stand non-verbal people. They understand. We love them. They're great. Socially awkward non-verbal people just sitting there, vibing. We love vibing. Then me, like you. Kid's voice, lisp, for some reason. Let's see. I had it one time. Then maybe you should buy. Fuck me. Fuck. Then maybe you should buy me a cup of
caramel pudding at lunch. How does that sound? I don't know. I don't really like caramel pudding, and they'd only let you buy one. I know. Tragic, isn't it? I think you eat a bit too much pudding as it is, though. It'd be doing you a favor, though, really. But if you don't really want to give me your pudding, it's fine. I can't force you. My voice is fucking different again.
I forgot how to do a child's voice. I need to do a child's voice again. Fuck. I was like, I'm just yelling. I'm just fucking yelling when I do that every time. I'm just fucking yelling.
I won't let you hold my umbrella, though.
Miku? Hatsune Miku? Just ignore Reno Ayu. Ignore Reno Ayu? One of our classmates, a girl with stubby pigtails, called Miku. I was joking. I was joking about Miku being Hatsune Miku, but it's stubby pigtails called Miku who piped up.
I'll let you hold. I'll let you eat my pudding.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! No! People. My father needs you. My father needs me. Is me playing your mom. Say God. I'll let you hold my. I'll let you eat my pudding.
Nope, that's not Hatsune Miku. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it, we both. Miku. Insert Miku voice here. Just pause at Miku, we will crossbar. Nice.
No, eat mine!
Mine! Mine is that mine! Fuck it!
Alright then, you can have my pudding too. You let me hold your umbrella. Good girl, I knew you'd come around. You're all so gracious. I'll be positively drowning in pudding during lunchtime. I wonder if I'll ever eat all of it. Oh.
I am now. Sweetheart. From Omori. Ayu's laughter was shrill and tiny. It dug into Anne's head and it made it hurt. Alright, girls, I think that's enough chit-chat. Your umbrella is lovely, Ayu, but you shouldn't unfurl it indoors. You get the floor wet. Wash up now. It's a good girl, and put it away where it belongs. That goes for you too. The rest of you too. You all need to sit down so I can take the registry. At Miss Kayano's behest, the girls hurried to put away their things. Even Ayu. She filled up her umbrella and stuffed it into her cubbyhole. Then she took her seat next to Reno, in front of class. Good.
No.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Good. We're all such well-behaved girls. Then let's see who's here today. Ada? Hey, miss!
No Mori?
Here. Ah! The lovely gal! The non-verbal gal! Hello!
Miss Kayano was halfway through the registry when Tamaki finally entered the classroom. Unlike the others, Tamaki hadn't thought to bring an umbrella with her, and she was certain. Ah yes, I forgot, we're British. Unlike the others, Tamaki hadn't thought to bring an umbrella with her, and she was certain as a result. Ayu snorted when she saw this, and said haughtily,
Goodness me! Look at what the cat dragged in!
Few girls tittered, but Tamaki remained unresponsive. Perhaps she didn't understand Ayu's turn of phrase, or perhaps she was so dazed from the rain she'd failed to register it. She sneezed.
You? Could you at least cover your mouth when you cough? You're going to give all of us your icky gums.
I found the voice again.
My daddy won't be happy if I get sick because of you.
Our insults were met with nothing save silence. Rather than growling, Tamaki slunk across the classroom, head bowed and sat down by An's side. Tamaki looked almost as tired as An felt. The dreary weather must have drained her.
Well, I never. It's rude to ignore somebody when they're talking to you, you know?
Now, Ayu. That's enough. That's enough of that. It's my job to scold Tamaki if she misbehaves, not yours. Though I rather think she's suffered enough. The poor dear was soaked through. I'm sure she'll dry off, given some time, but perhaps we can expedite this process. Do you have a handkerchief on you, Miss Clements? Oh yes, let me... Do you mind if I whip you down? You're dripping wet. Tamaki blinked, then nodded. Alright. An wiped the worst of the rain from Tamaki's cheeks, which were eerily white. So much so they seemed almost ghostly. When she'd finished, Tamaki only looked marginally more presentable, but An supposed that was a minor improvement. That a minor improvement was better than none at all. Miss Keanu finished going through the registry, then set the girls some maths problems to do. They worked on them in silence, heads bowed, pencils scratching answers in their copybooks. While they worked, An directed a few whispered questions to Tamaki. What happened this morning, Tamaki? Did you forget your umbrella? Tamaki nodded again. Were you late waking up? Another nod. I know how you feel. I find it hard to wake up when it's raining too. You should always remember to take an umbrella with you, though. You don't like getting wet, do you? Tamaki shrugged. Well, you shouldn't. You get sick if you get wet. And we don't want that. Tamaki shrugged again and An sighed. Well, I don't want that. Even if you do. I do care about you, you know. Tamaki blinked. She didn't say anything, but she didn't have to. An could read the reply in her eyes. Really? Yes, really. I like to think that we're friends, you and I, and friends don't like to see their friends get sick. Please take better care of yourself. I do worry about you sometimes. Tamaki smiled at this, cheered, and snuggled her cheek against An's shoulder. Aw, we love this baby. Look at this baby! We love the bean! Look at this bean! Precious bean, protect the bean. Protect the bean. Her hair was still damp, but I didn't push her away. Talking to Tamaki could be infuriating at times, given her never reciprocating it, but it was always rewarding. When Tamaki expressed affection, she did so like a cat, nuzzling and purring. Such gestures from a 9-year-old girl were certainly unusual, but it was Tamaki's usual, and An had grown accustomed to it. Now why don't we get started on our maths problems? The time passed at a glacial pace. The girls worked on their sums in blasted silence, while the raindrops struck against the window panes. The rainfall had begun to even out, but the discordant pitter-patter knifed through An's skull regardless. Her head felt like it was going to split in two. The pain she had felt this morning had grown worse and worse, in increments, until now she could scarcely move without wincing. Even the sound of Tamaki's pencil scratching against her copybook made her temple throb. Everything was an annoyance and everything ached. Anna was able to force a smile whenever Tamaki looked at her for assistance, but a smile wavered whenever Tamaki dropped her gaze back to her textbook. Anna told herself she could endure the pain earlier that morning, but this might have been a bit too optimistic. Anne's physical discomfort had swelled to such a degree, it felt like it was all her skull was comprised of. All of Anne's thoughts had compressed, squished, crushed into the corners of her skull, to make room for the throbbing and aching agony that gripped her. Still, Anne tried to endure. She didn't want to make a scene, but in the middle of the second lesson her vision began to blur. This had happened to Anne before, and when it did, it was never a good sign. Usually it promised a fainting fit. Anne didn't want to pass out in the middle of a lesson. It would upset students, and it would perturb Tamaki. She was already sensitive. Anne didn't like to let Miss Kayano down, but enough was enough. She could only endure so much. I'm sorry, Miss Kayano, but... Anne got to her feet. The room swayed around her, the desks and chairs melting together like a crazy kaleidoscope. You're right. I'm not feeling all that well. I think I need to excuse myself. Very well, Miss Clement. You may take your leave. Please get some rest. You look like you could use it. Thank you, miss. I appreciate it. Anne bowed her head in thanks, which made her head ache all the more, and turned to depart. It was still raining outside, the sky festooned with thick grey clouds. They matched Anne's mood perfectly. She felt terrible. Hi! My, this is a nice surprise. What I owe the pleasure. What? Anne winced. One hand pressed her head. Her skull felt like it was going to shatter. I don't think that's something the nurse should say to a patient. Why not? Why can't I? Why can't I tell you I'm happy to see you? Would you prefer it if I said I was unhappy instead? No, that isn't it. Anne shook her head, then thought better of it. Anne shook her head, then thought better of it. A tremor of pain flared in her skull anew, not that it had left.
It's
Oh
more.
no, that's fine.
You should know, since I'm here.
I pressed V by accident.
Self-voicing disabled.
Oh no.
Oh no! I got sick and have to visit the school nurse. How terrible!
I pressed V by accident. I meant to press the fucking space bar. It's more you should know since I'm here. There must be something wrong. I wouldn't come to the nurse's office on a lark. Now I follow. I suppose that sounded a bit insensitive. Haha. Just a little maybe. Not that Kohaku's conduct sensitive or not, mattered all that much. Everything was eclipsed. The white walls, the desk, the plants that rested upon it, in the face of Anne's anguish. Why is this frozen? Did he end stream? Is that why it's frozen? No, you did. Oh, maybe? No, it's just frozen, okay. Extra slow the resolution. I should also get my water. Curious. I'm gonna get more water, be right back. I'm just jamming out to the music. This is good music. I should close my macro. Sorry if I said anything stupid. I don't have the best bedside manner. Which is funny, you know? For a nurse. Still. It's been dead around here all this last month. Hardly anybody has come in, and when they do, it's not for anything interesting. Define interesting. Stabbings, or leaking entrails, or faces melting off. That kind of thing. Ew. That's gross. It is. Rather, isn't it? It is, rather, isn't it? Hockey tittered and non-tutted. Tutted. And it seemed an appropriate response. Also, at some point, I will mention the fact that I am, that Anna will eventually mention the fact that she is in immense pain. Eventually. Shouldn't you be glad you had many students to see? That means everyone's healthy. Of course I'm glad for their sakes, but what about mine? It gets awfully boring sitting here all day, and nothing happens. Nothing to do. Would it kill these brats to get into a few fights? Preferably with knives? Fights don't really happen in St. Cecilia's. Not physical fights at least. St. Cecilia's student body were far better versed in the art of emotional damage and emotional manipulation. A pity, I suppose. You girls are all too well-mannered. Too well-mannered. Is he changing games? He is changing games. Give me a second. Shobu. How do you spell Shobu? Shobu. Shobu wa nan desu ka? Shobu. 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 Time. Demon Slayer. Diamond Slayer. Hinokami Chronicle. A pity, I suppose you girls are all too mild-mannered. I guess gang warfare is asking for too much. That would be like all of my birthdays come at once. But you girls don't even seem to get common colds. What's up with that? You say as I'm in pain. I couldn't say I'm not a nurse. You might not be, but I am! And after taking a quick look at you, I don't think it's my personal opinion that you look all that well. You have a migraine? Dear me. They're awful, aren't they? I used to get them myself sometimes from stress during my old job. It made my head ache something awful. I just gave Kaku my normal goddamn voice. Kaku is my normal fucking voice, because I can't think of anything creative for Kaku. I'm already using I already used the good voice for Miss Ayaku. I suppose you'd be wanting to sleep it off? That's what I always do. That's what I always do. Does this happen often then? Once or twice a week. It's not always this bad though. Goodness! That sounds like quite the cross to bear. At least I only ever have migraines a few times. Well, if it's rest you need, you come to the right place. Why don't you lie down? Thanks. This shit is not Monster. This shit is not Monster. I changed that fucking category, motherfucker. Motherfucker joined the live stream before. Anyways. Anne crossed the infirmary as she had many times in the past. Then she sat herself down upon the edge of the freshly made bed she knew always. She knew almost as well as the one in the dormitory. How many times has she come to the nurse's office before during the decades she'd spent at this since this? Sorry, I'm just listening to a hilarious take. They just got really shook when someone said that one game's visuals looked nice when it in fact did not look nice. The game looked fucking terrible. So, the game was so bad that it made a fucking world record for amounts of refunds it got. Anyways, back to not talking about that shit game. We're talking about a better game called Fragile Feelings, made by Ebihime. Fuck yeah. She didn't know it was impossible to count. Once, Anne had been very close with the old school nurse. Not Miss Shiokawa, though she certainly hadn't disliked her, but the woman who had held the position before her, Miss Takeuchi. They are getting really shook. My friend is getting really shook at these takes being made in this chat. And it's very funny. Miss Takeuchi. Takeuchi, with her gray hair and her thick spectacles, had always tried to put Anne at her ease. She had let Anne sleep in the infirmary for as long as she needed, and when she'd woken up, she would offer her tea or Japanese sweets. Miss Takeuchi had been one of Anne's closest confidants during her early years in St. Cecilia's. She had been a doting grandmother figure, always interested in Anne's studies and eager to hear about her well-being. Miss Takeuchi had favored Anne so she'd even bought her cards for the new year and her birthday, and presents too. That was more than Anne's own parents had ever done for her. Anne had been sad when Miss Takeuchi had left the school. She had lost not just a companion and compassionate nurse, but a surrogate grandmother, a dear friend with whom she could share her worries. She had liked Miss Shiokawa. She had liked Miss Shiokawa. She replaced Miss Takeuchi well enough, but she'd never been quite as close to her. Miss Shiokawa had been younger than Miss Takeuchi, and she hadn't been looking to take any of Miss St. Cecilia's students under her wing. What the fuck? What kind of shit take is happening in chat right now? In this chat right? What the fuck kind of shit take is happening? Anyways. She meant the age that she wanted children of her own, rather than replacements. And in any case, had been 13 when Miss Shiokawa had begun working at St. Cecilia's. She had been much too old to cry into the arms of any of St. Cecilia's staff. It would have been improper. What about Kohaku, though? Did she care about propriety? Somehow, I doubted it. That's the ticket. We'll get you settled soon enough. First, I think I ought to give you something for the pain. Did you take any medicine already? Ann shook her head. Good. I wouldn't want you overdosing on anything. Not on my watch. That wouldn't be a good start on my illustrious career as St. Cecilia's devoted nurse. Now, this should do the trick. Kohaku handed on a couple of capsules of paraphernalia. Paracetamol. I just fucking assumed it said paraphernalia for some reason. Paracetamol. Take this. You'd do better to swallow them whole. Do you need any water with them? No, it's fine. You sure you won't gag? I'm sure. I've taken enough pills in my time to keep them down. Phew! That's impressive. Not even I could do that. I don't think so. It's nothing to be proud of. While other people might have been gifted at running or singing or painting, Ann was particularly good at swallowing pills. It didn't sound like a crazy endorsement to her character. Certainly, it wasn't something she would be put on her CV. The phone fell again. I keep tugging on the fucking charging wire that's connected to right below me. The charging wire that's like right at my foot hooking level. I keep tugging on that, and doing so, I fucking pull the phone. I don't need the fucking phone staring at my face 24/7, because it's not in use 24/7. Yet I leave the phone there, staring at my face 24/7 for some unknown reason. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. In doing so, I keep dropping the phone when I try to adjust my leg. Yeah, it's very funny. It's very funny how that keeps happening. I say as I put the phone back on the table. With the stand. There. Ann inhaled, then she pressed the pills into her mouth and parted her lips. She tasted them on her tongue for all of 2 seconds before she swallowed. Her throat convulsed. If Ann had ever possessed a gag reflex, it had long since been stifled. She had taken too many painkillers in her life, with or without water. She didn't always have the luxury of being picky. There we are. That should help. Now you lie yourself down. Get some shut-eye if you can. You look like you used it. Those rings beneath your eyes make you look like a little panda. Gee, thanks. Don't mention it. Guaku's smile didn't waver. She seemed impervious to sarcasm. Perhaps because she employed it as a weapon so frequently herself. Just try to relax. I'll do my best. That was easier said than done, however, given the pain which continued to swell in Anne's head. Dawn was throbbing fiercely, but unfancied it did feel slightly better. It must have been the placebo effect. Surely, it's the placebo effect, and nothing else. Anne knew from past experience that it hadn't been nearly long enough for the paracetamol to take effect. Goddamn medicine, and there were long-ass annoying names to pronounce. Consoled, but only slightly, Anne then lay down upon the bed. It was quite the process, almost as involved as a ballet performance. Anne only had to descend 2 feet, if that, but her body felt brittle, and it was with great care and caution she rested her head down on the pillow. She was afraid if she moved too quickly, her skull might shatter. Hello, possum playing Sea of Thieves on Steam. Good! Let's get you cozy, shall we? Quack began to tuck Anne in. She bent over the bed, adjusting the sheets around her. There we go. You look a lot comfier now. I'll be waiting here when you finally wake up. I'm a regular guardian angel in a white coat. It's not like I have anything else to do anyway. Or anywhere else to go. I have anything else to do. I don't know where to go. Oh well. I didn't read that. Lol. When I finally awoke from her slumber, after what seemed like a small eternity, it was to the discovery that the sun had begun to set. The spotlessly white walls of the infirmary were dyed reddish pink in the last vestiges of the day's light, and everything looked hazy and unreal. The bed sheets, the desk, and the woman who sat at it. Kwaku had been busy writing something or other during Anne's convalescence, but she turned upon her chair when she heard her stirring. Twirling her black bureau between her white, slender fingers, Kohaku offered the half-asleep Anne a cheery smile. Good evening, Sleepy Beauty. Finally up, are we? Anne sat upright, her emotions labored, and pressed a hand to her temple. It was still throbbing, but the pain was nothing compared to the agony from earlier. Do you feel any better? A bit. Anne let her hand fall to her lap, then glanced about the infirmary. She frowned. What time is it? Almost 8. It's that late? It is quite late, yes. You were out cold for a good few hours. You must have been exhausted. Oh, I'm sorry. When do you usually get off work? 4. 4, at least that's when I'm allowed to clock out on paper. But as you can see, things don't always work out that way. In my line of work, you gotta expect the unexpected, though. Granted, that usually holds true in hospitals.
I can imagine.
Ann surveyed Kohaku from the bed. The crisp white sheets rumpled up around her lap. Sorry, give me a second. The young woman was smiling, seemingly without a care in the world. She didn't look particularly upset, but Ann still felt guilty regardless. Charlie, Ann looked down at her lap.
I'm very sorry for keeping you. I hope it wasn't too much of an imposition.
Oh, you're hardly that. Don't worry. I believe I already said before you passed out that I've been incredibly bored. Nothing seems to want or even need my services. I'm glad you stopped by when you did, or I would have gone mad. Been this close. Clark made a gesture with a thumb and a forefinger, trying to conduct a conversation with my clipboard or my stapler. Now wouldn't that be sad? Then you really don't mind? Then you really don't mind? Not at all. It was nice to have some company in this stuffy old office. It does get kind of lonely. Nobody likes being unwanted. Art nodded. This was a kernel of knowledge she knew very well, based upon personal experience. Besides, I really didn't mind watching over you. You want... for what? Nope. I wonder about that. What don't? It doesn't matter to me, asleep or awake. You're pretty fit, you're a pretty little thing. I made watching you quite rewarding. What? No, I... Ann's fingers curled about her bed sheets. My face turned red, and Kohaku laughed in an airy, devil-may-care manner that made Ann frown. Was she being serious, or was this all part of some incomprehensible joke? Jeez. Ann exhaled. She really didn't understand Kohaku, but perhaps that was as to be expected. She'd only spoken to her a couple of times. Maybe after a few more encounters like this, they might begin to form some kind of understanding beyond impish giggles and embarrassed blushes. For now, however, Ann felt a bit too self-conscious to remain in good conscience in Kohaku's company. Surely she'd taken enough of her evening. Well then, thank you for looking out for me, but... Ann rose to her bed. She felt lethargic, but she was able to spur her body into motion regardless. I should probably get going. What? But why? I've taken up enough of your time. I would have thought you'd be rejoicing to see the back of me. To see the back of me. Your actor is quite lovely, I'll grant you that, but your face is even lovelier. The eyes are the windows to the soul, or so I've heard. My eyes were closed for the last few hours. They were, yeah, but they're open now, and I wouldn't mind staring into them just a little bit longer. You're just saying that. I don't say any things I don't mean. Now don't try to act like a stranger, not with me. We're friends, aren't we? I wasn't aware of that. Oh, no, fuck. Now you are. Now you are. We're friends. I moved my hand. I tipped over my gamer subs bottle. Good thing is, it was closed and screwed on tight. Anyways, take another sip of water now. Aggressively closes Gamer's West bottle.
It's that simple? Why make matters more complicated than they are? Than that. We've only spoken a few times.
The coffee girl, the coffee shop, the barista one. You know, the one that came with the whole ass, that came with the tub, as opposed to the small packets. That one. Yes, I bought it because I get a tub of gamer subs. It's just water though. I'm using it mostly for water, for normal water, freakage storage, because it holds a lot of water as opposed to a normal fucking cup / glass. So like, hog. Hell yeah. Many water.
I was
like
just thinking
26
that you look like the
something.
sort of person who would enjoy one of our fairy kiss
Like 26
chillers.
ounces of water. Small cheam cup. If you're wondering what tub I got the blowhole blast tub of no caffeine blowhole blast, because why not? It is good. It tastes good. Though I'm not drinking it right now, it tastes good.
We've only spoken a few times.
And that's a few more times than I've spoken with the rest of the staff here. They take one look at me and take a step back. Like I'm the Antichrist. I'm surprised they don't cross themselves when I walk by or throw down vials of holy water. I think it might be all the piercings or maybe the makeup. They don't seem to go in for it all that much. You do stand out quite a lot. Maybe too much. Miss Akasaka called me in for a little chat last week, as she termed it. But it wasn't really a chat, at least not in my apparently limited understanding of the word.
What did she say?
That I wasn't making enough of an effort to fit in. She said my looks were an attitude made it clear that I wasn't au fait. Au fait? What the fuck is... I've never heard that terminology before. I know it's... What the fuck? Au fait? Au fait, yeah. Having a good or detailed knowledge of. Huh. Au fait. It's French. Huh. I've never heard that saying before. Ever in my life. I know the words. I know what the individual words mean. I guess like of maid, which makes sense. Kind of, in the context of like, it's supposed to be having good or detailed knowledge of, I guess. But like, that makes no sense. That's a weird saying. I wasn't au fait with Cecilia's core values, whatever they are. That would be piety, modesty, That'd be piety, modesty, and responsibility. Oh! Do they drill that into you from an early age? We had to recite it every Monday morning in assembly. I've heard it thousands of times. You poor thing. No wonder you girls all look so sad. Well, Miss Sakasaka tried her damnedest to lay these values into me, but I wasn't having it. You can tell the kids how to dress. You can tell the kids how to dress, I told her. But I'm not a child, I'm a grown woman. I'm free to make my own decisions, and it's not like a few piercings is going to bring the anarchy, for goodness sake. And what did Miss Akasaka say about that? She wasn't best pleased, but she backed down. I think she knows she can't get rid of me, not that easily. It'd be hard to find a replacement in such a short notice. Anyway, that's in the past. I'm not having much luck forming any friendships, so I figured I'd give you a shot. So I'm your last resort. Not in the slightest. I think you're very charming as far as resorts go. You're at least on level of... let's say... Tommy. The place with all the hot springs. Exactly. Now... Not unmuted still. Lol. Lol. Where was I? Imagine being muted. Now why don't you sit down? You look a little better than you did, but your face is still pale.
I'm always pale.
And those dark circles under your eyes haven't shifted?
I always have dark circles.
And do you always rebuff people's kindness so callously?
What? No.
Unblushed?
I didn't mean anything by it. I don't want to put you out any longer.
And like I said, it's no big deal. Why don't you stay a little longer? We could have a talk. Maybe I could pour you something to drink. I don't want you getting dehydrated.
I am a bit thirsty, I guess.
Good! I'll put some tea on. I have an electric kettle in here. Look. An electric kettle.
Wow! Wow, we got an electric kettle.
Baku searched through one of the drawers in her desk and proudly produced a small kettle. Gray and compact. Trailing behind is a plastic cable. Probably, honestly, I'm not supposed to have this. Apparently it's a fire. Excuse me. Apparently it's a fire hazard. Catch me going all the way to the staff room for a cup. Catch me going all the way to the staff room for a cup of tea, though. That sounds far too much effort and shoes like mine. Yes. You're really fucking high-ass heels. Imagine. Also, what if I need to draw a cup of tea? I can't just leave my patient here. That's just a response. I can just leave my patient here as if I need to fetch a glass of cup of tea.
You can always wear flats.
And to make Miss Akasaka happy? No, thank you. So, what'll it be? Green tea? Is that alright? I nodded, quite swept away by Kohaku's cheeriness. Wonderful! I'll put the kettle on then. While we're waiting for it to boil, why don't we have something to eat? I have a whole bunch of candies, and I can't eat all of them by myself.
Well, if you don't mind.
Oh, while wearing heels just to spite folks, I like it. Have you seen her goddamn heels? You picture of them? Actually, no. Hey, have you seen her heels? Have you seen a picture of it? Actually, no. Why would it be a picture of her feet? Ignore that. That makes no sense. Why would we see her heels? I don't know why that thought was like, there's definitely a picture where we can see her full body. There is none. I think. I did just save. Yeah, we don't get to see them. Oh, the title card. You know, that makes sense. Modern breath and wonders what she has left to live for. Until she meets the playfully devious Kohaku. An is immediately drawn to Kohaku. Immediately. In fact, very true. But can a relationship between them really blossom? Gay. They're being gay. Look at them be gay. Aren't you jealous of their gain? Look at her. What the fuck? Fragile feelings. Don't ask why she was in the maid outfit. We'll never know until we get to that segment of the game. We'll never know. We have the faintest way of knowing. Anyways, maid outfit.
Hey, yo, maid outfit. Well, if you don't mind,
I don't mind in the slightest. This will be fun. It's kind of like a picnic. Now, why don't you just sit back down? Sit! Come on! Unobeyed, Kohaku, without further instruction, she flopped down onto the side of the bed, and Kohaku tossed a couple of neatly wrapped candies in her lap. Here you go. These should tide you over until the tea is done. What flavor are they? Watermelon, I think. Oh! Anne examined the candies for a few moments. The wrapper was transparent, made of cellophane, and Anne could see the candies inside, bright red, like precious gems. In the setting sun, they seemed to sparkle. Anne picked up one of the candies, stripped it of its wrapper, which crinkled beneath her fingertips, then popped it into her mouth. The more she did, a refreshing kind of sweetness seeped across her tongue. The flavor was artificial, but it put her in mind of a long, lazy summer she's never had, and the watermelons split on the veranda with a family she didn't care about getting their fingers dirty. The flavor of the candies made Anne feel nostalgic for a childhood which wasn't hers. This is fucking sad. That's just sad. How is it? Does it taste alright? Anne could not speak, with her mouth full of fruit candy, so said she bid it to nod. Good. I think the watermelon is just about boiled. The water? I think the water is just about boiled too. The watermelon is about boiled. Unless I got that correct the first time. I just assumed it said watermelon. Anyways. Walker picked up the kettle once it had begun to exude steam and emptied it into 2 cups, which were already full of matcha powder. She stirred the contents of these cups with a silver spoon. She might have dressed like a witch, but she was certainly no werewolf. Then handed one of the cups to Anne. Ah, yes, the funny silver. What am I looking for? Oh, I remember now. Oh, damn. There is no audio cues. Oh well. Bye, Corner Rock. You stop by. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Here you go. Uncrunched on the remaining vestiges of a watermelon candy, then replied with a demean, "Thank you. You're quite welcome. You don't need to be so formal, though." Together, the 2 women sipped their tea. It was hot at first, and it burned Anne's lips in her hurry to get it down. She sputtered, and Kohaku smiled. "Careful! It's not going to run away." "It's not the tea I'm worried about." "And I'm not going to bite." "And I'm not going to bite unless you'd like that." "What? No, So Kohaku wasn't a werewolf, but perhaps she did have some vampiric tendencies. That was good to know. "Where's the line?" asked the narrator. Anne sputtered, her cheeks pink, while Kohaku smiled. "Because you're so conscious about when you're with me, you know? You can come here as often as you like. whenever you need it. I'm not going to judge you. No? Nope. I'm a nurse. We're supposed to make our patients feel comfortable. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with you. But if you're having migraines this often, it's probably a deeper reason for it, an underlying medical condition, maybe? Kawaku's voice was gentle, but her eyes were as sharp as a piano wire. I hadn't told Kawaku the full extent of her precarious health yet, but Kawaku must at least have had an inkling. The fucking nurse. What'd you expect? Fortunately, however, Kawaku didn't pry. Instead, she said, her voice light. Not that you need to tell me everything. I don't want to be pushy, so I won't ask, even if it's hard for me. As you might have gathered, I rather like the sound of my own voice. Why the fuck did you show up? Give me a second. What the fuck? You're losing this fucking room. What? I did it again with the phone. I need the wire, causing it to tip over. If you ever need me, though, I'll be here for you. Please don't worry about being a bother. While I'm on the clock, my time exists to help others. And even when I'm not. Kawaku continued swiftly, emptying the objection which was beginning to form on his mind. I don't mind. I worked overtime back when I was a doctor too, and that was way more stressful than being with you. Unstashed the colorful wrapper from the fruit candies Kawaku had given her in her pocket, and proceeded to forget about them until later that night. As you do. She was in her bedroom, the curtains drawn, the only light that of her bedside table. It was 11 o'clock, and she had been getting undressed for the night when she unearthed the wrappers anew. What is happening in here?
I was just thinking that you look like the sort of person who would enjoy one of our fairy-kissed chillers.
Thank you, Possum. I've attained to the hot chocolate. Ooh, what kind of hot chocolate? Is this normal hot chocolate? With water or milk? Or are you unsure because you bought it from a store? What kind of hot chocolate? Why do I? Oh yeah, that's my everything. No special things mixed in, sadly. But is it water or milk? Maybe with milk, though. I see. Fancy. I say fancy. That's not normal. Lol. I'm looking at Discord real quick because I'm weird. I'm weird. Just stare at Discord real quick. Scanning. Okay. I'm gonna stop looking. I'm gonna stop for now. I'm gonna stop looking at Discord for now because, you know, that's irresponsible. Oh dear. Her fingertips brushed against the crinkled cellophane stashed away in her skirt pocket, and she blinked. Hmm? There was no real reason, and knew to keep these wrappers, but she didn't like to think of throwing them away, not when they reminded her of her time spent with Kohaku. Anka didn't get Kohaku from her head, and neither, she realized, did she want to. It was nice to have somebody to talk to. Somebody not quite as old as Miss Kayano, nor as young as Runa. Perhaps Kohaku did not realize it, but the brief time they had spent together had made Ann feel less alone. That was why, after some thought, Ann decided that she would cling to those wrappers and the memories imbued within them. They might have outlived their functional purpose, but to Ann at least, they maintained their import. They were far too precious to dispense with. May! The rain is pouring down. The days continued to pass, unnoticed, as they always did. May blurred together in a haze of increasing heat, which made Ann, in turn, feel as though she too was melting. How short is this game? I actually don't know how short this game is. Fragile fear. I might on Kappa feelings. Playtime. Do you say on your itch page? No. Approximately 48 hours of reading. Okay, so it's 100k words of text. Hell yeah, a kinetic story with no choices or branches. Native characters, constantly OST, a cute, slow burn romantic story. Despite the premise, the story is actually quite uplifting. I promise. I promise! I promise! It's uplifting! I promise! I promise it's uplifting besides the fact that it involves a sad lady. I promise. The beginning of June ushered in warmer weather still, courtesy of a bright yellow sun which shone pitilessly in the azure sky. When Ann awoke on one particular June morning, it was with the sensation that she had been smothered in her sleep. The sheets upon her head, though thin, felt far too hot, and her bare skin was dewed with sweat. When she checked her reflection in the bathroom mirror, adjusting the collar of her uniform, she saw that there was a smattering of red marks along her clavicle. They must have been insect bites. There were too many of them. They could have been joined together with a pen, like a game of connect the dots. Anne fingered a few of these puncture wounds carelessly, feeling for all the world like a victim of a particularly aggressive vampire. Well, that decided it. This was the last time she would sleep with her window open. It wasn't worth the hassle. Anne yawned and pressed one hand to her mouth, which hitherto had been employed scratched with her wounds. Then she readjusted her collar. This, she thought dimly, was probably a better usage of her hands than irritating her already irritated bite marks. She didn't want to get an infection. If that did come to pass, though, she would at least have an excuse to see Kohaku again. Not that an excuse was really necessary. Ann's head was pounding. Ann knew that what this signified as clear as an asthmatic might anticipate an attack of coughing. Out of the migraine was beginning to build at the back of her head, and it had been prompted by the hot weather and Ann's own fatigue. It only threatened to worsen as time wore on. Ann's skull was pulsated with anticipation, while sweat began to bead upon her brow. She wanted nothing more than to lie down in bed, close her eyes and sleep, but she knew that she couldn't, for all of Miss Kayano's reassurances. She was an adult and it was a school day. She had work to do. Tamaki would miss her if she didn't go to class. She would try to get through the day if she could, and if she could not, then she could see Kohaku again, and seek sanctuary in her office. That would be something to look forward to, at the very least. Anne had thought that her bedroom was hot upon awakening that morning, but the air in the classroom was even more stifling. It was the second lesson of the day, and the girls were busy working on a series of English comprehension lesson exercises. Dirty heads were bowed over desks, pencils scratching against the lined papers of the copybooks. All the while, as they worked, the sun shone mercilessly through the windows, bearing down upon them with a lace-like intensity. Girls sighed at irregular intervals. They crossed and recrossed their legs, shifted in their seats, and flapped the hems of their skirts in desperate bids to cool themselves down, to little avail. Shoulders dropped, mouths yawned, showing molars. Anne felt like yawning too. She was tired, not just of the weather, but of Tamaki. Tamaki had been in a bad mood all morning, most likely because of the heat. She had been surly and unresponsive, even for her standards, ever since she had traipsed into the classroom, and now she was refusing to do any work. 5 minutes had passed since Miss Kayano had set her students a comprehension exercise, and Tamaki had yet to write a single thing. Oh no! The bean! What's wrong? What's wrong with the bean? The lined papers in her copybook were bare. Hello. Star Railroad from my phone. What's up?
Tamaki, please.
Anne tried to appeal to the young girl. Deep breath. I have so many fucking wires at my fucking foot level. So many wires. For fuck's sake. I'm trying to appeal to the young girl beneath her breath. I'm back. The BGM is a jam. It is a jam! We'll find. Who made it? We can't find out yet. We'll find out who made it later. We will figure out who made this jam or BGM in a bit. Could you try to answer a few of the questions? Just one or two? You have to make some sort of effort. Tamaki growled in response. She didn't seem convinced. Ann suppressed the urge to groan. This was infuriating. Please, Tamaki, won't you try? I know you can do it. You're a smart girl. I'm sure this will be a breeze. Still nothing. Tamaki. Ann exhaled. She shook her head. What was she to do? Tamaki, please. Tamaki ignored Ann this time. She didn't even look at her. Her attention had been quite taken, instead, by a fly that was buzzing around the classroom. The fly first settled upon Mai's desk, but she brushed it away. The fly then rose in the air, a small dark dot superimposed against the blackboard, hummed all the while. Next, the fly landed near Miku, but she was so focused on her essay she didn't notice it. The fly rose again. It flitted to and fro, wending its way between the rows of St. Cecilia's students before landing upon Runo's left hand. Reno's left hand. Ah! Reno's response, unlike Mai's and Miku's, was loud and unabashed. Ew, 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 ew! Miss Kayano, who had been quietly grading the girls' homework from the night before, looked at Reno curiously. Is something wrong, dear? Yeah, what's the matter? Why do you skin like that? It sounded like something from a horror movie. I'm on my voice now. I was surprised at Rogue Pencil. You're not being attacked by an invisible space alien, are you? The rest of the girls in Miss Kayano's class, alerted by Reno's shriek, were now facing her. 30 pairs of eyes focused upon Reno. Are you among them? Who looked irate. You're lucky you didn't damage my eardrums by yelling like that. Were you raised in a barn? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be a pain. A fly landed on me while I was writing is all. It scared me. A fly? Ayu's look of distaste deepened. How unpleasant. How unpleasant. I can't stand insects. They have such big, buggy eyes. Such small, spindly legs. They're gross. Can't get rid of them, Miss... Can't get rid of it, Miss Kayano. And how do you propose I do that, Ayu, dear? Do you want me to chase it about the classroom with a roll of textbook? If you could, spat it right out of existence. It's what it deserves. That might make you happy, Ayu, but I don't condone cruelty. No matter how small, that fly doesn't deserve to die. Not when its only crime is existing. Oh, who cares? You should put it out of its misery, and quickly. Flies are so stupid. I doubt they even feel pain anyway. Ah! Oh no! Another burst of voice. Ah! Flies can feel pain, actually. Throw back to the movie last night. Oh no! Oh no! Those stupid cockroach aliens. They can? Indeed. A study has condoned a study conducted in the 1990s, which clearly that flies can feel acute pain like humans that can. Need practice hot and cold stimuli, and when their limbs suffer damage.
Wow, I didn't know any of that. How'd you know that? How'd you know so much about flies, Mai?
I read about it. I read about it in an article. It was quite informative.
Well, get you. You're so smart.
You roll her eyes.
I bet you must be feeling pretty proud of yourself, Miss Clever Clog, knowing so much that it's just a shame all your knowledge is completely useless. I thought it was kind of interesting. Shut up, Reno!
You kicked Reno's shin, which made Reno squeal for a second. I'm mourning. You. That's not a very nice thing to do. Apologize at once.
Don't want to.
Well, you must. You have an obligation. Have you heard of restorative justice? It's quite a complex topic, but I thought you might be familiar with it given your father's profession. You know so many other complicated things after all.
Well, of course I know what it is. It's when criminals meet their justice so they can talk, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. It's a common used method to settle differences between people. I think it would be appropriate inside this case, don't you? It was cruel of you to kick Reno. She did nothing wrong. As such, the burden is upon you to apologize. Now, why don't you show us all how best to say you're sorry? You know so many big long words. I'm sure you can manage it beautifully.
Ugh. Fine. Reno, I'm sorry that I kicked you. You don't deserve it. I must be in a bad mood because of the weather. I hope you can forgive me. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I know you didn't mean any harm. I know you know. It's not like we'd stop being a friend out or anything like that. There. You see? We made up. Nothing's wrong. Reno wasn't even like that.
I'm glad to hear it. It's important to check these things, though. I would hate for you to upset any of your friends. Now, Miss Clement, would you mind opening that window at the back? The one to your left. Let's see if we can get the pesky fighter to leave. But such a small creature, it's caused more than its fair share of problems.
Of course, leave it to me.
Hurriedly obeyed Miss Kayano's instructions. She opened the window, set it on the latch, then took her seat once more by Tamaki's side. Throughout this little interlude, Tamaki remained silent. Her fingers gripped her mechanical pencil, and her teeth regretted. The fly escaped, forgotten. By escapade forgotten, the other girls were beginning to get back to the work. Even Ayu. Tamaki, however, had yet to write a single thing. How Anne wondered would she explain this to Miss Kayano when she examined Tamaki's copybook later. It wouldn't reflect very well upon her.
Tamaki, please. Won't you try to answer a few questions? Just one or two?
No reply.
If you're worried about making mistakes, you don't need to. You needn't to. Nobody's perfect. Miss Carol won't be upset, not if you've made an honest attempt.
There was still no reply.
Tamaki? Look.
Desperate now, Ann took the mechanical pencil from Tamaki's hands, then pressed its nib on the lined paper in a copybook.
If you're worried I can help you, why don't we work on these problems together? I'll show you how to answer the first question, and you can do the rest yourself. Just follow in my suit. It's not that hard, really. You just need to...
Ann was never able to tell Tamaki what it was she needed to do, however. She wasn't afforded the opportunity. That was because, all of a sudden, Tamaki launched forward. She wrenched a pencil free from Ann's grasp, using such raw strength she bent back her fingers and dipped her head. She opened her mouth, then she bit down on Ann's right hand.
Ah!
Ann cried out, aghast, much like Reno had done a few minutes prior. Her index finger ached, though Tamaki twisted. Had Tamaki twisted them? But that was nothing compared to the stabbing pain by the base of her thumb.
Tamaki, please stop it, stop!
Tamaki? Miss Kayano rose from her desk, her expression alarmed. Tamaki, what are you doing? Let go of Miss Clements at once.
Oh my, what's this?
Ayu swiveled around in her chair, grinning as she did so.
It looks like Tamaki's finally lost it. She lunged at Miss Clements just like an animal. What? I can't believe it. Are you alright, Miss Clements?
Tamaki, let her go. But Tamaki did not let go. The more Ann struggled, the harder she bit down, until Ann felt something tear. The hand was being wrenched apart, split by the force of Tamaki's incisors. Was she bleeding? It was hard to tell, given her hand was still engulfed in Tamaki's mouth.
Tamaki, please. Let go, you're hurting me. It really hurts. How shameless. How can Tamaki justify acting like this? She should be locked up. I don't want to sit in the same classroom as a nutcase like that.
Well, fuck you, are you?
Oh, Miss Clement. It sounds like she's in a lot of pain. Of course she is. Tamaki is trying to tear her hand right off of it, Miss Kisup. She's crazy.
Tamaki, that is enough. I don't know what prompted this outburst, but I will not tolerate violence in my classroom, particularly towards a member of staff. Let go of Miss Clement at once, or I will have no choice but to report your behavior to the headmistress. You don't want to be expelled, do you? Think what your parents would say. This, at least, seemed to snap Tamaki out of her reverie. She blinked up at Miss Kayano, shamefaced. Then, very slowly, unfastened her teeth from about Ann's injured hand. She wiped her mouth from the back of her arm, then slid back into her seat. She folded her hands on her lap, her eyes downcast, the very picture of contradiction. Contradiction. One would never have thought to look at Tamaki like she was, that her teeth had been gouged into Ann's hand only a few moments before. The results of her handiwork, however, or mouthy work, given the situation, remained clearly visible in the curious eyes of Miss Kayano's 5th grade girls. It was just as Ann had feared. Goodness me, that is quite the bite. What a savage Tamaki is. She was bleeding, after all. Tamaki had bitten with such force she had punctured her skin. A ring of red, angry teeth marks were tattooed in a circle around the base of her thumb, and a couple of particularly deep ones were oozing red. Ann gripped her wrist with her uninjured hand, steadying it. Her stomach was beginning to churn. She wasn't one to faint at the sight of blood. but the circumstances upon which it had come about made her feel woozy. There's nothing for it. You can't stay in the classroom like this. You have to go and see Miss Asaba. With a bit of luck, the wound won't be so very deep. And she'll be able to patch it up. I don't think it's such a deep wound, really. I'm sure you'll be just fine. Hey, Ann, what's wrong? Ann was greeted when she entered the infirmary, not with a cheery or irreverent smile, with a cry of genuine concern, which Ann supposed was not too surprising. She must have looked utterly miserable. What happened? Oh, nothing really. Now don't give me that. If nothing had happened, you wouldn't be here, so... You silly thing. I can't very well tend to you when you don't know what the matter is. Why are you shaking like that? What upset you so much? Well... Can't you get the words out? Ann didn't reply and said she'd looked down at her feet. Kohaku sighed. Do you want me to guess then? Are we making a game out of this? I've always been fond of games myself, though this one seems rather grim. Let me see. Do you have another headache, or... Kohaku's eyes aligned upon Ann's hand, which was held together at her front. Ann's fingers were pale, just like her face, but... Aha! It didn't take Kohaku very long to spot the source of Ann's distress. Ann supposed that it was too difficult to detect. There upon Ann's right hand was a red ring impressed upon the soft, fleshy part of Ann's hand at the very base of her thumb. The youth's grooves were red, like puncture marks, and they looked nasty, almost inflamed. Ann heard Kohaku inhale, then she asked, "Did something bite you?" Feeling rather ashamed, Ann nodded. Judging by the size of this mark, it was no mosquito. Kohaku whistled, perhaps in an attempt to diffuse the tension which hung heavily in the air. What was it then? Mr. Cat? Mr. Cat, it seems a bit too big for that, though. Kohaku made a show about pondering one hand beneath the chin before she said, "Don't tell me it was Miss Akasaka. I don't like her much myself, but I never would have pegged her for a vampire. Not with her crucifix in her office. Unless that's a clever decoy." I know I sure as hell won't be surprised if it turns out she's into drinking the blood of virgins on the sly. That witch. Ann knew that this was meant to be a joke, but it didn't tear her up. Instead, her shoulders began to shake. Then her eyes filled with ashamed tears. Damn, just called Ann a virgin. Jeez. My stand-up routine was that bad, huh? I guess it wasn't quite my day job. I guess I won't quit my day job. Kohaku smiled, her voice gentler than per usual, more temperate. This was the sort of voice one would have expected a school nurse to use. It wasn't all that dissimilar from the tone Miss Shiokawa had adopted, particularly when speaking to the youngest girls with bloodied knees or twisted wrists. Ann supposed she appreciated it. She knew Kohaku was trying to be considerate in her own way, but... More tears began to bead in Anne's eyes. Despite her desperate sniffling, she couldn't still them. She didn't like to be treated as an invalid. She didn't want Kohaku to pity her. She didn't want her to know what had happened, really, but... Alright. Enough of the funny stuff. Or unfunny stuff, as the case may be. I think I know what went down based on the size of these marks. Kohaku took Anne's wounded hand in her own, a gesture which, though gentle, made Anne's heart jolt. I would say, in my expert opinion, that this must have been caused by a child. Was it one of your students? Anne said nothing. It would have been too easy enough to reply. He had to deliver one word answer. Yes, but admitting that one of her students had assaulted her seemed a shameful thing. Her lack of a reply, however, must have damned her, because Kohaku seemed to have come to her own conclusion. You poor thing. Why would anyone do anything like that? Such a sweet heart like you. That rotten brat, whoever she was, must have held some kind of grudge. This isn't just a little bite. She really went at it. At least the wounds themselves don't seem too deep. It seems they've stopped bleeding at the present, but... Damn. I don't know whether I should be impressed or afraid. Are you sure this girl isn't the offspring of a shark? No, that I know of, no. Do you know why she flew off the handle like that? She must have been really mad to lash out like that. I don't know. I was just trying to help, but then I sniffled. I didn't mean to upset her. I didn't, I swear, I'm so stupid. It was with this declaration that the dam broke. Anne's emotions, which had been stunted, owed to sheer shock, now overtook her, as tears began to ooze from her eyes. This was all my fault. It was because of me. I acted like an idiot. Now I find that hard to believe. You don't seem all that stupid to me. Naive, maybe. But you're no idiot. No, I am an idiot. I pushed Tamaki too hard. That wasn't her fault. I know she has issues. I worked with her for over a year, for goodness sake. I should have been more considerate, but it was hot and I was in a bad mood and I snapped at her. Why wouldn't she snap back at me? I don't deserve your sympathy. I brought this for myself. This is what I deserve. I think that might be a bit of an exaggeration, dear. But Tamaki should be just fine. Whoever she is. Unless you gave as good as you got. What? You didn't bite her back, did you? No, of course I didn't. There's no harm done. Cecilia's reputation will remain unblemished for the present. Hooray for that. Quack released her grip on Aunt's hand and then took a step back. It would be a scandal if a teacher assaulted a pupil, but it's decidedly more acceptable when it happens in the reverse. You read things about it in the papers from time to time. Kids can do horrid things, whether they mean to or not. None of this is your fault. But if I hadn't pushed her, maybe she wouldn't have bitten you. and you wouldn't be in pain right now. But I think, and stop me if I'm mistaken, I wasn't there after all, that this spat in the classroom affected you more than anybody else. Your pupils should be safe, at least. So don't be so hard on yourself. For the moment, I think you'd be better off sitting down. I think it'll do you some good. Kohaku led on to her swivel chair, and Anna obeyed without question. Her legs folded up beneath her like a what? Like a what? Like a what? Concertina. What? Concertina. A small musical instrument, typically polygonal in form, played by stretching and squeezing between the hands to work a central bellow that blows air over reeds, which each note being sounded by a button. Akin to an accordion, but not the same, I think. Huh. Interesting. Her legs folded up beneath her like a concertina, and a few more tears spilled from her eyelids upon sitting. Let's take a look at that wound. Kohaku took a swab of cotton wool from a drawer and doused it in alcohol. Then she sat by An's side, the cotton swab poised above An's hand. Would you let me disinfect it? It might hurt for a bit, but it's better than the alternative. I think you've suffered enough today without getting an infection on top of everything else. Alright, just, Anna extended her wounded hand tremorously, her face pale pink. Be gentle. I always am, don't worry. I always worry. I can tell. I hope I've never given you cause for concern, though. Not as far as I can remember now. You're only saying that because we've barely spoken. I haven't had the chance to make too much of a nuisance out of myself. Not, I suppose, that I really want to do that. You're too sweet to distress, and I'm not that sadistic, despite my occupation. Now, deep breath in. Uninhaled, her expression taut and tense, as Kohaku began to dab at her wound. True to Kohaku's words, it did sting. It stung horribly, in fact. But Kohaku kept up a steady pitter-patter of words as she worked, which helped ease the worst of the pain. A few minutes elapsed, full of one-sided chatter until... There. Kohaku tossed the cotton swab in the nearby bust bin, then recrossed her legs. We should be done with that. All I need to do now is bandage it up. Do you think it's as serious as all that? I would say so, given it made you cry. Anne's cheeks were pink at this, and shyly she looked away. I need to dehydrate. Be right back. Oh, if I hit the be right back button. Whoopsies. Whoopsie daisies. That's fine though. None's gone that long. Email. Okay, nothing important. Good. She was a delicate person by nature, but that didn't mean she liked having her delicacies exposed. She wished as she sat there, she hadn't cried in front of Kohaku. Then she might have been able to pretend that she was stronger than she really was, that she didn't need as much concern as she did. That was something comforting, however, in knowing that Kohaku had already seen her at her weakest, and that she had not judged her for it. Kohaku laughed. It was true, but Ann did not think Kohaku had laughed at her, which felt like a valuable distinction. It was a small distinction, but a crucial one, and it was this which fostered the blush on Ann's cheeks when she met Kohaku's eyes. If she could confide in Kohaku, perhaps even she would be able to be happy. It was thoughts like these which ran through Ann's head as she sat in the infirmary. Thoughts which prompted her to say, after a pause, "Alright, if you think it's for the best, then I'll listen to you. You probably know what you're doing, so maybe you should bandage it up, girl." An excellent choice. The doctor always knows best, after all. At least I do. You're in safe hands when you're with me. Yes, I know. Thank you. For what? Doing my job? No, for listening to me and not making fun of me. It was nice of you. Well, I do try. I know you're... I know I don't have the best bedside manners, but I don't go in for deliberately antagonizing my patients. It seems counterproductive. Besides, you're so sweet. It breaks my heart to see you cry. So they were stuck in that topic of Ann's supposed sweetness again. Ann sighed. Perhaps she should have known. She was too tired, however, trying to argue. Instead, she sat there, accepted Kohaku's kindness. Kohaku wrapped Ann's bitten hand in pure white linen, secured it, and then cut away the excess. Stashing the bandages back in a drawer, she then examined Ann beneath her smoky eyelashes. So? I would say you're free to go, but after everything that's happened... Kohaku looked at Ann's eyes, which were still red from crying, then down at her right hand, which, swaddled in white bandages, looked worse than it actually was. Maybe you need a bit of a breather first. Before you go to the front lines, it might do you some good. Your physical health's been accounted for, but one's mental is just as important. It can't be overlooked. Spoken like a true doctor. Ann's smile, though vaguely, it was her first smile of the day, which made Kohaku beam in turn. Don't sound so surprised about that I'm a doctor. At least I was. My star might have fallen a little since then, but I do know what I'm talking about. And this ex-doctor reckons you could use a cup of tea. What do you have to say about that, I think it sounds wonderful. Doesn't it? Doesn't it just? There's nothing a nice cup of tea can't fix. At least, if you ask me. Just give me a sec to get everything prepared. Gwa begins to bustle about with her tea things. She fetched the portable kettle from her bottom drawer and filled it with water from the sink. Then she plugged it in and let it boil, and spooned matcha powder into 2 matching teacups. Once the water in the kettle was ready, Kwaku poured it into the cups. She stirred both drinks using a silvery teaspoon, then handing the teacup to Anne. Careful, it's hot. Thank you. Onto the cup gingerly, taking care not to scald her fingers, and brought it to her mouth. Pursing her lips, she then blew upon the surface of the tea. Anne inhaled. She could smell the matcha powder. It was rich, like the cigarette Oahu smoked, but far more pleasant, earthy and natural, and not too overpowering. There was something homey about it. Anne's father had been a great tea drinker. Perhaps that was to be expected, given he had been born in England. But he had her mother boiling cups of tea throughout the evenings. Sometimes he had as many as 4 cups before bedtime, or even 5. It was enough to make one wonder whether Alec Clement's veins flowed with blood, as other people's did, or Earl Grey. If cut, would he have bled chamomile? That was a question, however, that Anne could not answer. Her father had been a cool, composed man, a bit like a Grecian bust. And she had never once seen him fumble, or stumble, or cut himself. Perhaps he didn't bleed at all. It was here, however, that Anne decided to curtain her thoughts. They were quite getting away from her. She exhaled upon the surface of the green tea once more, then took a sip. A small contented sound escaped her. The tea was still hot, but it wasn't overtly so. It made her tongue tinkle, but in a pleasant manner. And when she swallowed, it seemed to warm her from within. Thank you, Blossom. Anne's problems remained as pressing as they had always been, but Gahaku's advice had been quite correct. The tea did help. How is it? Good? Mutely, Anne nodded. I'm glad. I guess all this time I spent making cups of tea for my coworkers wasn't a complete write-off then. Although it pissed me off at the time. Anne's brow creased. She could hear the bitterness creeping into Kohaku's words. She might have been smiling, but it looked strained. What happened? Oh, it's just boring workplace politics. From a workplace I no longer work at to boot. There's no point dwelling on it, really. I'm being silly, it's just... Well... You know how men are... Anne frowned. Did you know how men were? She wasn't sure. She hadn't known many or any men in her life, other than her father, and he had seemed like less of a man to her than more of a god. Alec had been a staggering 6 feet tall, with broad shoulders and very pale blue eyes, like shards of ice. Anne had been in awe of him ever since she had been old enough to know what awe was. Were other men like Alec Clements? Anne had no idea. Well, putting all that nonsense to one side, Kwaku smiled, perhaps sensing Anne's perplexity, and soon changed the subject. I hope you feel better now. A bit, I think. Only a bit? Kwaku pressed her lips together. Now this won't do at all. What? Oh, I'm sorry? It's alright. Don't apologize. If anything, I'm the one who should be saying sorry. I'm supposed to be a doctor. Or a nurse. And it's my job to make my patients feel a lot more better. Not a measly, teeny-bitty bit. Hearing you say that isn't so good for my ego. It makes me feel like I failed. You're not a failure, not at all. I could say the same about you, you know. In fact, I think I did. But you denied it. That's different. I don't see how. You're older than me and wiser. And more confident too. You know a lot more about the world than I do. No, I don't. Not particularly. I'm just good at putting up a front. I doubt myself too. A whole bunch. In fact, if you really want to know, I think we're all like that. To a degree. Then the real difference is how we handle our self-doubts. Kwaku set her cup of tea down, then rose to her feet, stretching, and then, she then shot on a smile, which went largely unobserved. Anne was too busy blushing. You want to know something? You want something to eat? More candies? If you like, I have some dorayaki stashed away too. I have some dorayaki stashed away too, though. If you'd rather, I think Japanese snacks go a little better with green tea myself. Well then, if you don't mind. I don't mind a bit. Just wait a moment. Kwaku ferreted about in one of her drawers before unearthing a couple of smushed dorayaki, which had seen better days. Wow. How much stuff do you keep in those drawers? Oh, all sorts. It's like Aladdin's cave in there. Do you often stockpile sweets like this? Uh-huh. Why wouldn't I? The drawers are roomy enough, and though it's a bit of a cliche, what girl doesn't like sweets? Don't you like sweets? Yes, I do. Well, there you go. Hypothesis proven. Kwaku grinned and looked so very pleased with herself that Anne found herself smiling too, despite the still present pain in her right hand. Now, here you go. There's one for me, and I'd like to give this other one to me too. But I think you could use it more. How generous of you. I know I am! Now I know this isn't the best. It's a bit misshapen. But I think it should taste fine. Eat up. Kaku deposited one of the dorayaki into An's lap, then took her chair and began to work on her own. For a few seconds, the only sound which could be heard in the infirmary was that of crinkling plastic, as Kohaku peeled the protective outer shell off her dorayaki. Then there was a chomp, as Kohaku took a mouthful of sweet, spongy castella and red bean paste. This is so good. Kohaku spoke with a mouthful, still chewing, then she swallowed. Ann, who had yet to start on her own snack, only observed, then smiled. It's a bit strange, though. Waters? My turtle owners? Yes, I'm not the most refined woman. No, not that. I don't mind. Ann's father would have, but he was not here. I hadn't seen him in over a decade. Why would his opinion matter? In any case, neither of them were sitting at a table. Kwaku had her desk, yes, but her back was facing it. Her chair swiveled about so that she could observe Ann. In a scenario like this, Ann failed to see why table manners should apply. I think it's strange that you like sweets so much. You don't seem like the sort of woman who would. Oh? And what not? And why not? It's hard to say. Maybe I'm just being silly. It's just... You're... kind of cool, so... I don't know. You thought I'd subside on nothing but salads? Well, you are a doctor. And since when did that stop me from doing things that's bad for me? You should know that I don't always practice what I preach. I'm a huge hypocrite. But it's fine. It's been scientifically proven that women have a separate stomach for desserts, don't you know? That means we can eat as much junk as we want. Is that so? In an ideal world, yeah. Kwaku laughed, and though Ann knew the world was not ideal, if it was, her hand would not have been aching as much as it did, she laughed too. It was hard to resist the urge when Kwaku's good humor was so very infectious. Ann, I heard about what happened. Are you alright? I'm saving now. I'm saving. Wow. 20 whole minutes. The train saves. It was the day after that Tamaki incident, and the bell for lunch had rung. Ann had finished with her morning lessons, and she was in cautiously high spirits. She had dreaded going into the classroom upon waking up, but when she did, she discovered that things were not as unsettling as she had feared. Tamaki had been in a docile mood despite the summer heat, and she had greeted Ann not with her incisors bared, but with her arm outstretched. She probably didn't say as much, not that Ann had expected her to say anything at all, but Ann got the feeling that she was sorry. Ann let Tamaki hug her, and had ruffled the top of her head for good measure. Tamaki had smiled at this, purred like a cat, and had nuzzled her cheek against An's chest. By the time An had ushered Tamaki to her desk, any ill will which might have lingered between them had quite disappeared. Tamaki had been on her best behavior and had done everything An had asked without question. It had been a quiet, peaceful kind of morning, but this peace was soon shattered by none other than Eguchi Runa.
Oh, your poor hand, it's all bandaged up like a mummy's. Oh, I feel so sorry for you, Ann. Are you okay? I know I wouldn't be. How'd it happen? Anyway, did you really get bitten? You know about that? Everybody does. It was going about the campus all morning. People talk, you know. Ah, yes. I suppose that's true.
People talking was one of life's many constants, which, much like the rotation of the Earth, is the rising and falling of the ocean waves. If there was gossip to be had, it would soon be transmitted amongst eager mouths. The girls of St. Cecilia's, though, ladies, were not at all above feelings feeding the rumor mill. That would certainly explain why the other assorted girls in the country courtyard, sitting upon benches or reclining beneath trees, seemed to be observing Anne so keenly. It had always been hard for Anne to be inconspicuous, owing to her fair hair and blue eyes, but it was even harder now after everything that had happened yesterday.
So what did happen? Tell me all the details. I'm dying to know. You and everybody else.
Anne began to blush, nearly conscious of the curious eyes which were all trained upon her.
I don't mind talking about it, but now might not be the best time. I've gotcha. You must want a bit of privacy. This is a pretty touchy subject. Since you're my bestest friend, it stands to reason you'd want to confide in me. And only me, hee.
Runa grinned, flashing a mouthful of crooked, uneven teeth as she did so.
Don't worry, I'll listen to anything you have to say. And I won't interrupt, not even once. I won't tell anybody what you've got to say, either. Your secret will be safe with me. I promise.
Thank you, Runa. That's
very nice of you. You don't need to thank me, silly. That sounds way too formal. We're supposed to be BFFs. Now, why don't we go to our usual spot? It'll be just you and me there.
Runa's fingers squeezed about Anne's left hand, which she turned pigtails fluttering and tried to drag her away, but for once, Anne remained firm.
Wait just a moment, I don't have anything to eat. You can always share my lunch. Would that be alright? It's fine. I made it myself this morning, actually, but I want a little while. It's only sandwiches, but I have a whole bunch. And I've got a bunch of cookies too. I have home ec just before lunch. I had home ec just before lunch and my cookies were nice and warm. And my cookies are nice and warm still, fresh from the oven. I was thinking of you when I made them, and I really want you to try them. I like sweets, and food always tastes better when you have friends. I like sweets, and food always tastes better when you share it. Right. That sounds fine. Let's do things our way then. Great. Let's go.
Runa led on through the courtyard, then into the main school building. They walked up the stairs together, their footfalls almost in sync, but not quite. Runa, who was in the lead, moved more quickly, animated with nervous energy, which made her arms swing and her stubby pigtails bounce. Anne hastened to keep up and did a decent job at it, but couldn't quite manage it. They were always ever so slightly out of pace. Out of step. Anne paused to inhale when they reached the top of the stairs. She was breathless. Runa, however, didn't need a break. She approached the door, which opened out to the roof, then began to fiddle with its inner workings using one of her trusty hairpins. It took Runa less than 5 seconds to jimmy the lock, and after all her clandestine lunchtime spent at the roof, she'd gotten lockpicking down to a fine art. If she wanted, Anne thought she'd make for quite the accomplished cat burglar. Open up to me! That was, if she couldn't resist the urge to loudly announce everything she was doing to all the sundry. Runa pushed open the door, which squeaked upon its unoiled hinges, then stepped out onto the roof. It was windier on the school roof than it had been in the courtyard, and the breeze rumped Runa's hair. It was another warm day, and the sun, which hung in the sky, caught in her hair, so it shimmered. Runa's eyes, which were always alert and lively, seemed to sparkle. She looked so alive, Anne was struck dumb for a few moments, standing motionless in the threshold of the door, breathless, beneath the shade. Anne had not quite understood why Runa seemed to value her company so much. Why did she insist on chasing after her when they were so dissimilar? Runa was so bright and bubbly, whereas Anne seemed to drag everybody down. She would have been better off in the shadows, while Runa... Hey Anne, what are you doing? Don't you want to come eat with me? Of course I do. I'm sorry. Anne shut the door to the roof behind her, then approached Runa with a series of dull, floating thuds. If she wore heels like Kohaku, she would have struck the ground with the sharper, more decisive series of trots. But Anne did not trust herself in heels. Didn't trust herself in general, and she had only ever worn flat shoes. They were plain and black and boring, and weren't all that dissimilar from Runa's, which was secured about her feet with a black strap in a silver buckle. Their uninteresting, uninspired footwear seemed to be, Anne thought, about the only thing they had in common. Runa sat down and Anne copied. Then together, cross-legged, Runa began to ferret about her backpack for her homemade lunch. She boarded a plastic Tupperware box stuffed with sandwiches and pulled the lid off, satisfying. Ta-da! There were about 4 sandwiches stuffed inside the box, made with thickly cut slices of fluffy white bread. The sandwiches were stuffed with egg and mayonnaise to such an extent the bread could hardly hold it. It was simple fare. Runa's cooking wasn't the best, but it looked filling enough. Here you go. Anne, take one. Runa proffered the box to Anne, who accepted. She picked up a sandwich, as Runa did, and together both girls ate. They chewed for a while in thoughtful silence, while occasionally sipping from a bottle of cool oolong tea. The tea was Runa's, and Anne felt a bit embarrassed about sharing it. She was conscious, as she sipped, that Runa's own lips had pressed against the cool plastic rim of the bottle for a few seconds. Anne was a bit too old to fuss about indirect kisses, but there was something rather intimate about it. Anne, are you alright? Are you sure you're okay? What? Oh, yes, I was just thinking. Daydreaming, you mean? Well, maybe. About a handsome prince? I don't know any princes. Me neither. It doesn't hurt to dream, I guess, but... Me neither, but it doesn't hurt to dream, I guess. But it's hard when I don't even know what I'm supposed to be dreaming of. At the end of the day, I guess I'd rather be spent time with you. That's better than any of my silly daydreams. So? Runa's gaze dropped on Anne's right hand. What happened yesterday? Did you really get bitten, Anne? Well... Anne squirmed. She didn't want to talk about this. She already exhausted the topic with Kwaku yesterday, and she knew that she didn't have any choice. This was the whole reason why Runa had dragged her up to the roof. She was worried about her. As pushy as Runa could be, she was Anne's friend, and she did care about her. One only needed to listen to her to hear as much. She was nothing if not earnest. That's right. No way! Was it that freaky girl who did it? The one who never talks? That's what everyone says, and I don't know if anybody else is crazy enough to do something like this. It was Tamaki, yes, but you shouldn't call her a freak. She's not well. If she's well enough to go to our school, she must be well enough to act like everybody else. Well, that's just, ableism. But she isn't like everybody else. She has problems. But it's not her fault. What's wrong with them? That doesn't mean she gets a free pass to take bites out of you. That's messed up. Didn't it hurt? It did. It did a bit. I'm not surprised. I heard it bled. It sounded like super crazy. Can you even still move your fingers or grip a pencil? What about getting dressed? I should be fine. It looks worse than it is because the bandages. But I don't think Tamaki caused any lasting damage. But how do you know that? I asked the school nurse to look at it. Miss Asaba was rather thorough. She's the one who bandaged it for me. Miss Asaba, Runa's expression, which had already been disproving, furrowed all the more. I really don't like her. I know you don't. You've made your feelings about her pretty apparent. I don't understand why, though.
Why wouldn't I like her? She gives off a bad aura, she's creepy. I bet back when she was in school, she was the kind of kid who'd be wanted to keep away, wanted to keep away from. The sort that picks fights and smokes in the restrooms. I've seen her walking around in those stupid heels, with those stupid piercings. I bet she thinks she looks so cool, but she's not. She's just like a tryhard. Isn't she embarrassed to look like that? At her age, she's got to be, what, almost 30? I don't think her heels are in her piercings. Stop her for doing her job. I'm sure she's totally fine with it at her job, but that doesn't really mean I gotta like her. I never said you had to. I'm just telling you what happened. Well, if she thinks there's no problem, I guess it should be fine. She might dress and talk kind of weird, but she is a nurse. She's the only one who can look after you, though. I've known you longer than she has, and I care about you too. Way, way more than she does. Look! This is pretty, Runa. How dare you? I know. How dare she? Runa shuffled forwards until her knees brushed. Anne's. Then she held her own right hand over her friend, and began to move it counterclockwise. Owie, owie, go away. Don't bother tomorrow or today. Is that some sort of spell? Yep, it's an incantation. My mom used to do it to me for when I was a really small kid. Whenever I skin my knee or cut myself, I know it's real magic. I know it's not real magic, but it always made me feel better. She hasn't done it in a while, though. Not since I started out at high school. Since then, she's always been study. Runa's voice trailed off. She smiled bashfully. Not that we're talking about me right now, of course. What's more important? You. So, how do you feel? Do you think it helped? Well, what happened? I think it just might. Thank you. Aw, shucks. Runa giggled out and ran a hand through her hair, which now looked messier than ever given how breezy it was. You know, I'd do anything for you, Ann. You really are my best friend. When I heard you'd gotten hurt, I was really worried. I was afraid it was something serious. It did hurt a bit. It did hurt a bit, but it's not that bad. I'll live. You'd better. If you died, I wouldn't know what to do. You're like my very best friend in this miserable school. Who else I'd be able to talk to without you? Your classmates? Ew, not them. I don't care about them, and they don't care about me. They're all like so stuck up and prissy. They think I'm too much of a tomboy. Maybe they think if they hang out with me, they'll catch my plebeian mannerisms too. You're older than me, but you're the only one who talks to me like an actual equal. This place would be way too lonely without you. Did I
Then I'll do my best to stay alive. I wouldn't want to upset you. Yes, you'd better. Otherwise, I'd have nobody to share my cookies with. Speaking of which... Runa rummages around in a book bag, then procures a cutely wrapped cellophane pouch. The clear plastic. Yep. The clear plastic was tied at the top with a length of pink ribbon, and within were several cookies, all neatly uniform and cut into hearts. Unlike the egg sandwich, which had been brought roughly made, the cookies were real works of art. They were golden and brown and crumbly, and wouldn't have looked out of place in a shop window. They're so cute. They'd better be. I've been practicing since it's nearly your birthday. I suppose it is. Anne's nose wrinkled. She'd almost forgotten, though had been trying to forget. Might be more accurate. Anne's birthday was next month, on the 14th. In less than 3 weeks, she would be 20, no longer a teenager. Then she would well and truly be an adult. She'd be old enough to drink. Anne still didn't feel like an adult, though. In fact, Anne wasn't sure how she felt, both about her impending birthday and about the fact that she'd lived long enough to reach it. She never imagined she would ever see 20. That number had seemed improbably large when she had still been a young girl of single digits. Now, however, it'd be nice if I to make you a cake, but I might have to settle for cookies like this. I'm trying to get the recipe just right, but I think I could use a bit more tweaking. That's why I'm looking for some feedback. Would you mind trying one? I keep making by accident. I wouldn't, but I haven't finished my own sandwich yet. You can eat it after. I can't wait any longer. But a whole bunch. I put a whole bunch of love into these, you know. Love? Well, yeah, you know. You're my best friend and I love you. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I see. I suppose I can try one of your cookies then? That's the spirit. I hope you like them. I'm sure I will. Well, let's find out. Don't get your hopes up too much, huh? Suddenly shy, Runa began to work at the bag of cookies. Nerves made her fingers fumble, and it took her a few attempts to undo the ribbon. But soon, the bag was open. The cellophane split open in Runa's lap like a flower. Runa's finger hovered over a scattered cookies.
Eeny, meeny, miny. Eeny, meeny, miny, miny. This one.
Runa selected one of the cookies at random, then she held it aloft. Pinching between her thumb and forefinger, she then brought it to Anne's mouth.
Say ah! You're going to feed me? Well, why not?
Anne had several responses to the query. It's embarrassing, being chief among them. But she didn't want to spoil Runa's fun, but it was such a nice don't want it was such a nice warm day.
Alright, if that's what you want then.
Anne parted her lips obediently, hands resting upon her knees. There, she waited, the sunlight playing upon the crown of her head. Hair fluttered in the breeze as did the hem of her long skirt, which was splayed upon the rooftop. A few seconds to pass, while neither girl stirred. Then,
right, here.
with pink cheeks, Runa popped the cookie into Anne's mouth. She pitched down upon it, obligingly, and sighed as its flavor spread across her tongue. It was sweet, but not too sweet, and the restaurant crunch it made was satisfying. Though she'd only had a small mouthful, it was a quality cookie.
So, what do you think?
It's good. Thank you, Runa. You're a wonderful friend. Okay, and with that, I think I'm gonna end it there for now. Before we close the game. Do we have... No. I guess that makes sense. Credits are not here yet. The credits would probably be after we finish the game, which makes sense. Sad, we can't look at who made the music. I'm turn off the actual background music for this segment of the... Where is it? There we go. That'll be it for tonight, for today. That was fun, a lovely little game. I'm very excited. Thank you, and you're welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for coming. So I'm gonna continue this next week. Obviously, I'm not sure how long it will go for, because, you know, I've played this game. I feel like we're at least, hopefully, I think we're at least a third through, minimum. Hoping. Here's hoping. Yes, I say here's hoping as if there's a time limit. No, we don't really have a time limit, I guess. But I'm assuming we're a third way through the game. It's pretty cute so far. I'm enjoying it. Art is cool. Judging by the pages of CG, I think we're like maybe a third of the way through. There's 3 whole pages of CGs to get to. So we're almost 1 page full, so I think we're about like a third way, judging by just CGs alone. It's very comfy so far. Hopefully next week my voice will be less dying. You never know. Life is weird and annoying like that. And then I just spent 5 hours playing Played Up yesterday with you. So like, that didn't help. The 5 hours of played up. It's fine. I'll have tea after my shower. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. I was obliging my own played up once. We could have left whenever we wanted. I could have stopped whenever I wanted. I'm not addicted. Awesome art. I am not addicted. Come on. Yeah. Anyways, that was fun. That was a good story. I'm excited for more of it. Runa is a bit jealous. A bit, Runa's a bit clingy, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I was gonna yandere, but like, that's not really yawn. It's like it's just clingy and protective of An, which is a bit much. We love Tamaki. Tamaki is Bean. We will ignore the fact that she bit An that one time. Tamaki is we love Tamaki. Runa's bit does the gay hand gesture. I can't do it here, but yeah. A bit like that. A bit, Tamaki is a bean. A good bean, Tamaki. We love Tamaki. She is good bean. She gets agitated easily, but that's fine. Understandable. It's only human. We love Tamaki. Ayu is a bitch. Ayu is a spoiled brat. Estimate my head. But anyways, I should end the stream now. To rest my voice a bit. Tomorrow, I will be doing some more Ruby Grim Eclipse. I think we're almost done. I don't know how far into the game I am. But we're gonna do more Ruby Grim Eclipse. You'll be at work. You can't play with me. It's a sad time indeed. It's a sad time indeed. You cannot play Grim with me. You're at work. I got to the island. I just finished, the first... I just got to the Dr. Mateo, or Dr. Whatever's island thingy. Yeah... Okay, so that's not bad. Not been like one stream. Cool. So yeah. Basically almost done. Yeah, tomorrow Ruby. And I will see you tomorrow then. Let's go raid out. Let's see. Did I do two? Let's see. We got that one. We should stay with the comfy. We should stay with comfy games. Let's not. I was like, should I have this other person out on raid usually? Looks the game they're playing. Ah, yes. Hobby playtime. Let's go from comfy game to fucking horror game. No. We're going to a puzzle game. The comfy game as Poppy play. We're gonna go to, the classic sapphic Sunday rage target. Because they're always live when I am ending, because time zones exist. And they're funny. But yes, I will see you tomorrow for Ruby Grim Eclipse, and yeah. I want to do Side Order at some point. I want to play Side Order. But I can also wait, so maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll do Side Order Splatoon. Who knows? I will find out when time comes. Because I make my schedules on the week it happens. I'm very professional.